one thing that's pretty interesting, I've gone repeatedly talking about, and it's an arbitrary number that I've pulled out of thin air. I recognize that, right?
Uh-huh.
But nobody in Washington has thrown for 30 touchdowns since Sonny Jurgensen.
Yeah.
Like they didn't
That's
have
a long time ago.
color TV, right? So you don't have to be an NFL historian to be aware that the Washington franchise, outside of Sonny, I would include Theismann, hasn't had Sammy Baugh, should you choose to go back close to 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the quarterback position, this hasn't been Green Bay, where it was Bart Starr and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. This hasn't been San Francisco. This has been a lot of times, even when this team was at its best, there were flaws at the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
And what else we know now is that quarterbacking in the NFL now, guys just throw the ball way more than they ever did.
Oh, yeah. That's what the whole game is now.
Like,
and the rules are set up for them to be successful at it.
100%. So it's pretty remarkable when you get into kind of the record books of stuff and you look at career passing yards for Commanders quarterbacks, right? And then you compare them to like NFL all-time passing leaders.
They're way back.
Well, dude, these records are getting broken constantly. Tom Brady just concluded his career, right? Threw for almost 90,000 yards, 89,000 yards. Drew Brees had the record prior to Brady with 80,000. Peyton, 71,000. Brett Favre, that's pretty impressive because Favre played in an era where offenses were way more balanced and defenses were able to do a lot more. Favre threw for 71,000 yards.
Yeah.
So Favre, Manning, Brees, Brady, the only ones over 70. Brees and Brady, the only ones over 80,000 yards. I mean, those are crazy.
A lot of damn yards.
A lot of damn yards. Do you know what the all-time passing leader is? Who and what the total is for the Washington Commanders?
I already know.
Joe T.
25,000 some yards.
25,000 yards.
In 167 games.
And on an offense that was run first. You know what I mean? Like, when they started winning Super Bowls, it was Joe Gibbs wanted to run his Air Coryell West Coast and then was like, all right, we're going to have to run the hell out of football to win games. So, Joe T, very impressive. All-time passing yards leader.
How many yards per game you think that was?
25,000 and 100. There's no way I'll be able to do this. 25,000 divided by, I don't know. Damn. 150 yards per game? Not a lot.
Sonny passed for 167 per game.
Sonny was that dude.
But it was a time when the forward pass wasn't necessarily there.
Well, Sonny just went deep, too. Sonny threw for nearly 23,000 yards in 135 games.
Yeah.
I mean, this tells you about the state of quarterbacking in Washington. Number 3 on this list, all-time passing yards leader, is Sammy Baugh.
Yeah.
Who played, Jeff, can you look up when Baugh was playing? It had to be the 40s, I believe. I don't want to disrespect.
He played way back.
They didn't throw the ball a ton back then. And he's third all-time on this list.
167 games, 21,000 yards.
I think he played in the 40s, I believe. I could be incorrect. Like
37 to 52.
37 to 52. Okay. Fourth on the all-time Commanders passing yards list, Kirk Cousins.
And he did that in 62 games.
That's a lot more. But Le'Veon has an interesting, and then Rippon's 5. Billy Kilmer is
261 yards per game.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Billy Kilmer at 6. Like Jason Campbell's on this list. And I love JC, but he didn't have the most decorated career here in Washington. He was hurt. They were constantly churning through coordinators. Your boy Gus Farrat. Norm Snead. Le'Veon, what was your favorite Norm Snead highlight?
That time when he threw the ball to that receiver?
Yeah, that was just great. When he threw the ball to Jones that one time, I love that.
RG3 checks in at 10th overall in passing yards, 8,097 passing yards in 37 games. But Landville's got an interesting question. And we could just play the numbers out, right?
Yeah.
The leader is Joe Theismann with 25,000 yards.
Yeah.
The way these guys are playing now Jayden's, depending where you look, you could find the props on, how many yards he's going to throw for
like
this year.
36, 38, something like that.
I think it was like 3,500.
But let's imagine if he were to do that and you just multiply that, you took at every 2 years, it's that 7,000. It will take him basically like 7, 8 years.
Well, I would also think that his rookie season, that number might be 3,500.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think if things go the way they're supposed to, by year 3, year 2, you're hoping that is 42, 45.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I think you have to look at the era.
Totally.
And because guys back in the day didn't have to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game.
Right.
They had a running game, and then they'll come late in the game if something down, they were down, come up or whatever. Today, everything is about the pass.
I mean, you had 3 guys last year go over 4,500 yards. Kirk, when he was here, damn near had a 5,000-yard season.
Mm-hmm.
Still not 30 touchdowns. But, you have 10 quarterbacks over 4,000 yards, and passing numbers last year were actually down a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for Jayden, not even trying to create loftier expectations than necessary, but if you just consider a 10-year career at roughly, I mean, let's say it's 3,800.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can do that math. Right? Wouldn't that be
what?
I think even I can do that
10
math.
year at 3,800?
Wouldn't that be 38,000 yards?
Yeah.
Like,
if you didn't get that one, Jay, I would really just take your degree.
Like, I think when you want to discuss, could Jayden Daniels make the Commanders' all-time passing yards list?
Yes.
I mean, I think he could be. I mean, dude, RG3's on this thing with 8,000 yards, 8,097 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely possible Jayden Daniels surpasses that in 2 years. Just 17-game season, so you got one more crack at it.
Mm-hmm.
And teams throw the ball
a hell of a lot more.
right. Not even to just going off math. Now, to kind of climb up this list to get into the top 5, where Rippon's there at 15,000, that might take a little bit of time. But
if you really look at it, Jay,
it could be 4 years.
Based off of 4 years, that could be done.
It could be his rookie deal. Like before they even have to pay him a monster. How about this?
But see, I think, but this is one where I look at it and I think it's kind of ridiculous to even compare the eras. Because guys today are averaging more yards passing per game than teams average total yards in games back then. And a quarterback, receiver can't be touched. You got to let him, can't touch him after 5 yards, all that. Back then, they will run down the field hanging on to you, and nobody called anything. So it's kind of like, it's like when we talk about the eras, this is one where you have to look at the era and say what era he played in. Because you look at Tom's yards compared to the best of the best from 1960, and you think that dude shouldn't have been on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing with Tom is he started when, like, Brady.
He started in the 90s.
No, 2000, but
they had started.
Defenses were still playing for half of Brady's career.
They were still playing, but they weren't playing like they were playing back then.
Sure.
You watch any Mel Blunt tape. If you watch, what's my man named Lester Hayes, watch his tape. When the guy starts the game with a white jersey and ends up in his brown.
Right.
Because he was putting the stickum all over him.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Brady's yards per game over the course of his career, over a 22-year career,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that rookie season, or well, I guess he wasn't a rookie. His second year when he came in after Bledsoe got hurt, we all know the story. He averaged $190 a game in the air versus you go to the Super Bowl they won in Tampa in 21. He was averaging $312 per game in the air.
Big difference.
Yeah, his career average for Brady, a guy with a 2-decade career that really, I think, covered a large portion of the NFL modernization.
Mm-hmm.
He averaged about 266.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we think is just a straight up? I don't mean this disrespectful, but like just an average quarterback. Give me an average quarterback, Landfill.
Goff.
Jared Goff. I think
He's
you sleep
above
on
average.
Goff, dude.
He's way above average.
Let's just look at Howell. Howell last season got 17 starts. Now, he was pulled in 2 games, but he got 17 starts. He threw for 3,946 yards. If he finished the 2 games, he'd probably be at 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Howell last year throws for 4,000. If things don't have to go great for Jayden, things can just go fine.
We don't want
and
to
he'll
think
be
that.
on the list.
We don't want to think like that.
I'm with you.
I want it to go great.
I'm just saying from a numerical,
I don't want him.
statistical
I don't want him to just be on the list because our list is kind of lethargic.
Yeah.
I want him to be on the list because he was that dude.